Let's divide radicals now. But before we start, remember that just like in regular division, with radicals an answer is not complete until simplification is done. Radicals of the same root may be divided under the same radical, or separated under different radicals, just like in multiplication. For example, radical 24 over radical 6 is 24 over 6, which is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2. Another example, radical 98 over radical 8. First, place them under the same radical. Simplify, dividing by 2. You get 49 in the numerator and 4 in the denominator. The square root of 49 is 7, and the square root of 4 is 2. The answer is 7 over 2. Now, take note of this. A rational expression with a radical in the denominator has not been completely simplified. To simplify it, multiply the fraction by 1, using a ratio made up only by the number or expression of the denominator. For example, radical 3 over x. This is how it is simplified. We multiply the expression by the square root of x over the square root of x. So the numerator becomes the square root of 3x, while the radical in the denominator is eliminated because the square root of x times the square root of x is x. Notice the original expression was multiplied by 1 using the term of the denominator, radical x over radical x. Notice also that because it is an operation of simplification, the value of the rational number has not changed because it was multiplied by 1. In the following example, we show how the value does not change. Radical 54 over radical 12. In here, for example, the value of the starting fraction, the square root of 54 over the square root of 12, is, using a calculator, 2.1212. If we simplify it first, the 54 and 12 become radical 9 over radical 2, because both 54 and 12 are multiples of 6. Now we multiply the new expression by radical 2 over radical 2, because the radical 2 is the radical in the denominator we're trying to simplify. 9 times 2 is the new numerator, and the new denominator becomes simply 2, without the radical, because the square root of 4 is 2. The denominator has been simplified. All we have left to do is to simplify the numerator. The square root of 9 is 3. So the answer is 3 radical 2 over 2. Using the calculator, we see that 3 radical 2 over 2 is also 2.1212. Because you get the same outcome, 3 radical 2 over 2 is the simplification of radical 54 over radical 12. One more example. Simplify radical 5a over 7b cubed. Notice that the denominator becomes the one fraction that gets multiplied to get rid of the radical in the denominator. In the numerator, radical 5a times radical 7b cubed equals radical 35ab cubed over 7b cubed, but without the radical sign. Because the numerator contains now b cubed, the b cubed can be factored as b radical b, because 2 of the b's come out as 1b. So the numerator is now b radical 35ab. To finish it, we reduce the b in the numerator outside the radical with the 1b in the denominator, leaving the denominator now as b squared instead of b cubed. Because 35ab is under the radical and the denominator is not, the fraction cannot be simplified further. The answer is the square root of 35ab over 7b squared.